I mean, it looks as if the self is a thing, right? Or that there's a self that thinks and feels and makes decisions and chooses, and so much of our emotional life is tied around that. And there's so many implications around that as well. And to just kind of become aware of, like the late psychiatrist Thomas Sauce used to say that a friendship is two people who have agreed to uphold each other's mythologies. And I don't think he probably meant this with tongue in cheek, or not that that's all a friendship is, but there's an element of truth in it, in that so much of our social lives kind of become about validation or enhancing or bolstering a certain identity or a certain self-concept that look like us. And so many of our relationships become about kind of supplying that in a sense. And it can be something very liberating about just seeing how these games work, and to just see how illusory they are. That's the really interesting thing, because on one hand, it doesn't change anything, uh, but it kind of does simultaneously. You know, so what I mean by that is this whole illusion of being a self, a kind of thing like self. It's an illusion. It's not really there. So it's not that you deconstruct something or make something go away. It's more that you get a clearer perception. You stop hallucinating something, which isn't actually the case. Now, the interesting thing about this is, what sometimes when people have a shift like this, a bunch of issues in their life might disappear, but it might not also. But you'll have a very different relationship to your experience. And of course, once you kind of see that there's really no such thing as a self, then, topics such as free will, people might argue, is there free will? Is there not free will? I would argue that it's more accurate to say that there's no one there to have it, right? Or to not have it. And I think there's implications for that in terms of ethics and how to live life and your relationship to your fellow beings. But I don't think there's any clear-cut answers. But you might begin to question a lot of the things that you've automatically believed about a lot of stuff. But it won't necessarily make, all of your issues go away, or necessarily turn you into a quote unquote better person in a sense, but you'll have the opportunity to discover something valuable.